Hello and good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to today's Postgrad Insight session. Today we are joined by Swansea University, who are going to talk to you about their campuses, their courses, and everything that makes them stand out compared to other Welsh and UK universities. Before we move on, a reminder that today's session is live. It is streamed on social media and on Facebook and YouTube as part of that. If you have any questions at all on those platforms, please put it in the messenger facility. You will not be able to engage within the polls and the surveys that we hold. And if you have any questions within the Zoom platform, we are anticipating quite a large turnout today. Please put your questions on the chat facility and the Q&A facility, which we'll get round to at the end. But without making you wait any longer, I'd like to hand you over through to Emma today. She'll be taking you through the next 5 to 10 slides and then joined by current students, ex-students, and other recruitment experts. Emma, over to you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. And I just wanted to say a happy Chinese New Year to anyone listening from China. I know you're all over the world, and we just want to welcome you to Swansea. So Swansea, as you can see, is a really sunny, very different place to come. I'm going to talk to you today about the courses, the campus, and what it's like to live in Swansea. I'm joined today by my colleague, Katie. Say hi, Katie, who is going to carry on with the second half of our presentation.
Hi, everybody.
So as you can see, the campus looks very pretty because it was actually established in 1920. So we are a very, very well-established campus. But where are we? We are in South Wales, so we're less than 1 hour from Cardiff, less than 3 hours from London, and less than 4 hours from Manchester. And we have a very easy method of getting to international airports. Within 3 hours, you can be at Heathrow. Within 2 hours, you could be at Bristol International Airport. So it's very easy to get to Swansea University. But what makes us different? We are the second largest city in Wales. We have a population of over 250,000 people. So we are a medium-sized city, and it's a really nice place to live because we have 2 seafront campuses. So wherever you are on our campus, you can see the sea. For me, it's fantastic. I love living here. We're also on the edge of what we call the Gower Peninsula, which is an area of outstanding natural beauty. So you might be able to see behind me, we have got some beautiful beaches here. In the summer, a lot of the students will go to the beach, they'll go cycling, they'll go swimming. We have an Olympic sports village on campus. And so it's a very sports-friendly university. Just to show you some of our rankings, we are very highly ranked. And so we are currently ranked 29th in the UK in the Guardian Guide for 2025. And we're really pleased about that. And we've also just hit the top 300 in the world. We are currently 298 on the QS University rankings for the world. One of my favorites, we are actually Welsh University of the Year in the Good University Guide. And also what I will say is 93% of our graduates go into employment on graduation. And we are very proud of this statistic. Also, so living in the UK can be expensive. And so for us, we are pretty much one of the cheaper places to live in the UK. So here's just a guideline of the cost of living. So our average weekly rent here is about £145. So if you compare that to other cities like Manchester, London, it's a lot cheaper to live here. We also offer student bus passes for £32 per month, which means that you can travel anywhere within the area. You don't need a car. We also have bikes for students, so you can cycle along the beach from campus to campus. And gym membership costs you roughly about £15 per month. So looking at the video here, we've got a picture of Swansea. It's pretty nice. As you can see, the beach sweeps around. You've got the bay, and then a lot of our students live in this central area here. And then we have a marina, and the campus is just to the right of this picture. It is really sunny in the summer, and I think that's one of our draws. A lot of students like to come and live somewhere where life is a little bit quieter, but you still have a city vibe. This is our Singleton campus, where you will study medicine, arts and humanities, media. We have nursing. We've also got a hospital attached to our campus. And as you can see, it's in a really beautiful part of the world. So we have a park surrounding the original house that was built in the 1500s. And then we've got the law library, we have the main library here, and then we've got student accommodation on campus. And I can see Geetanjali, you have just joined us. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you.
So Geetanjali is one of our MBA alumni. I was just wondering, Geeta, could you tell us a little bit about your life on campus?
Hello, welcome everyone. And I had a wonderful life. And just to summarize, I was a faculty and I specialize in environmental engineering. And I was a faculty of environmental engineering, teaching students in India. But then I went to UK. I went to Swansea for my MBA. And after coming back, and actually Swansea equipped me with several skills. And after coming back, I am right now a senior consultant. So I could start my small business because of the skill sets I gained during my MBA. And the life in campus was wonderful. I used to study till 2 a.m. So I preferred staying in the campus so that library access was easy and I enjoyed. And whenever I used to miss my family, I used to go to the beach. So I had a wonderful time.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Geeta. That's amazing. And so when Geeta had graduated, obviously we built our second campus. So just to show you another quick video, Geeta would go to the beach. This is what it looks like. It really is a beautiful part of the world. As you can see, the students can just walk straight across the beach, straight across the road, and you're on the beach. And so you can see our sports center here. We have graduations, and we have a graduation ball on the big, the grass pitch at the front here. And just to show you the surrounding area of Swansea, it looks very green, but we also have a very, very strong student centre. It's a student city. It was built for the students. They love coming here. So everything's geared up for you as a student. You have Wednesday nights. We have discounts everywhere if you want to go out. The shops very often give student discounts, and it's, you know, the gyms are much cheaper here as well. So hi, Linda. She's one of our student ambassadors. Linda, what was it like for you studying on campus?
Well, I used to study on Bay campus. I was studying on Bay campus, and I liked the fact that it was near the beach. Like compared to Singleton campus, I feel as if Bay campus is mostly on the beach area. You can just walk from your lecture or during a lunch period, and then you can just walk. You're already at the beach front. You can just have your little break there, especially in the summer. It's very nice view. Yeah.
Thank you. And what was the, you know, the most positive point about studying on a dual campus university?
I think for me, because I was working on Singleton campus, and then while my lectures were in Bay campus, there's a direct bus from both campuses. So as much as like I'm trying to rush to get to my shift, but at least like there's a direct bus that comes every single 15 minutes to actually connect me to both campuses. And even if I do miss the bus, like the campus bus, I can always get another bus from city center, which do directly link the campuses. So I think that was nice.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Linda. And then just to show everybody, this is where Linda was studying. So she was on the Bay campus. And as you can see, it's quite a different style from Singleton campus. If you are studying engineering, business, computer science or maths, you will live and study and work on this campus. And again, it's right next to the beach. We are the only university, I think, in the world, especially in Europe, on the beach. And as you can see, you've got the students here enjoying the sunshine as well. We also have a sports centre on this campus. This is the School of Management at the front here. And then you will graduate, if you have your winter graduation, you'll graduate in the Great Hall, which a lot of families like to, you know, they come and visit the campus, they come and see where you studied. Again, as Linda said, it's about 20 minutes between campus to campus. It's a very easy run. The buses stop every 10 minutes, and you actually don't need a car to live here and to go between the two campuses at all. So just to show you a few of the courses that we have on offer, we are a very wide university in terms of what we offer. So we have courses in engineering, courses in social sciences, and courses in health and life science and medicine. And here are just some of those courses available, but obviously have a look on our website. So for example, if you're interested in engineering, we have a variety of different pathways. We do specialize in aerospace engineering, chemical engineering, civil engineering. We have mechanical engineering. So, you might want to have a look at that page and have a look at your different pathway. So for example, with business management, we have 16 different pathways. So you might want to look at, which sort of masters you would like to study. All of our master's programs run for 1 year, which again, it's much shorter than other countries. So you just pay that 1 year fee. And again, we are quite competitive with our fees. We also have scholarships available, but I think Katie's going to talk about those a bit later on. We also have specialist programs. So some of these programs are conversion programs. So if you don't have a background, for example, in virtual reality or engineering, you are able to convert onto these MSc programs and transfer over and change your career and your pathway and your life. We've also got other specialized programs where you would need to have a little bit of background information. So for example, the MBA, we would be looking at your work experience. Have you had any management experience within the workplace? You don't necessarily have to have a business degree to join our MBA program, but we would be looking at your career pathway and where you've been working. So you've also got the Advanced Health and Care Management Program. Again, we'd be looking at where you had been working before you came onto that program. So we've got lots of different specialist programs where you can either convert onto them or you can come with your previous background experience. And then scholarships. I think, Katie, shall I pass over to you here?
Yeah, thanks very much, Emma. So we have scholarships available between £1,000 and £3,000. We don't offer full scholarships, but we do. This kind of helps. This amount helps kind of towards your overall tuition fees, and there's various scholarships available. I can share them on the webinar. I'll put them in the chat in the link, and you can have a look at which one might be better suited to you. We do also recommend that you think about what scholarships are available where you're from. So I've had a question on the chat about the Achieving in Scholarship. So we do have scholars come to us that receive those. I'd also like to mention that some of our master's programs offer year in industry placements. If you do decide to do a year in industry at the university, then we now have a bursary available that will cover your fees during that time. So if you were, say, we've got students that might be doing a year in industry with one of our engineering masters, then they've decided to stay within the university and work on, say, a research project or in one of the departments, and that would cover your tuition fees during that year. So I'd really encourage you to look on our website and see what's available. So I think some of our speakers have also received scholarships while they were here. I don't know if Hamdi, you'd like to talk about your experiences?
Yeah, sure. My name is Hamdi. I'm from Egypt. I got my master's in finance and big data analytics in Swansea University Bay campus. I'm also a recipient of Great UK Scholarship, which is given by Swansea University at this time. So yeah, it was a great experience for me to get this scholarship and get my tuition fees almost discounted by half. So that really helped me financially to pursue my degree and then find a work after this.
So I touched on research projects and some of our research offerings. So just to kind of reiterate that we are very much a research-based university, and 91% of our research has been categorised as world leading, and 86% of our overall research quality has also been classed as world leading or internationally excellent. So you know, if you can see by some of the facilities that Emma shown you earlier on in the webinar, that we are very much a hands-on research-based university, and we have a lot of our presence on campus. So for example, we have Airbus, we have Rolls-Royce on campus, and we're co-located with them, and we work together with a lot of kind of research projects as well as various other things. So I'd like to hand over to Linda again. Linda, I think it might be a good time to talk about employability, and Emma, if you don't mind moving on to the next slide. So if it would be good to understand what support you had whilst you were at the university, and maybe talk about your recent role.
Hello, my name is Linda. I did study at Swansea University. I was doing my master's in advanced computer science. Initially, before I came to Swansea University, I did my undergraduate studies at the University of Cape Town, and I studied computer science and computer engineering. So that, like with advanced computer science, you have to have a computer science degree in order to get into that degree. And in my undergraduate studies, I was doing a lot of like part-time jobs and leadership roles that I was involved in. So when I applied to Swansea University, like the moment I landed, one of the first things I was looking into, like, oh, what can I get into? Because in my undergraduate, I was tutoring students. I was also like doing something like orientation, leadership, and stuff like that. So when I looked on the website, I saw the student ambassador scheme. And then when I saw the description, I then booked, because like with the university, they have an employability team. So I did book an appointment with the employability team and actually had a staff member to talk to just check before I applied to see like if I'm suitable for the role. And I actually like had they sort of like prepared me like what is to come for the interview for the student ambassador. So with student ambassadors, what they mostly do is like we do help with open days to just like show people around, incoming students and their parents, to show like maybe the accommodation that is on campus that is available, all of the different faculties that are around the campus and campus tours and all of those interesting stuff. So it was almost linked to the background that I had as a orientation leader, which was similar, but it's just that we had to do everything on orientation when people do register. So it was kind of similar, but at the same time, anyone with any kind of background can also apply for those jobs, because it's just good in improving your interpersonal skills. Because I was very introverted, but because of those leadership roles that I had, it actually made me get out of my shell and be able to actually have like conversations with people, conversation starters with parents, even like with students, and being able to be confident in myself and answering questions. Yeah, that was the student ambassador job that I did. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so just to expand on that a little bit, so we make sure we really look after our students when they're here with us. And so we actually have an employability team that helps students, whether that be sourcing part-time jobs or, as you say, the student ambassador scheme, or looking for a graduate role after employment with us. And there's a whole the whole breadth of support that is available to you within that. And we encourage students to really drive that themselves. So as a postgrad, you should really be thinking about what your next steps are going to be, and really using the resources that are available to you while you're with us at Swansea. So it could be you want help preparing for an interview, putting an application together. We even get companies in, as you can see in the picture on the screen, where we have mock interviews with real employers, and that's a really good way for you to see if there's an industry employer that you'd like to work for, and it's a good way for them to kind of get to know you as well, and potentially when you are to apply for a role with them, they can keep you in mind. Also things like updating your LinkedIn, and yeah, just making sure you're prepared for your next steps. Just to touch on the student ambassador scheme a little bit more. So most universities run this. It's an opportunity for you as a student to work and gain really good skills and experience whilst you're studying. So our student ambassadors, Linda and Hamdi, who are on the meeting now, they both worked as student ambassadors. They helped with things like open days, if there's events on, so helping talking about their experiences. And it's paid work. It's really good to for your presentation skills, makes you more employable, and yeah, it's really good to have on your CV for the future. Cool. If you wouldn't mind going on to the next slide, Emma, you might want to touch on this slide, because I know Shruti actually did her internship in your team. Would you like to mention a bit about this?
Thank you, Katie. Yes, this is Shruti Shetty. So every year, our faculty has an internship opportunity for current students. So Shruti was an LLM student at the time within our law school, and she started with us on a 10-week internship where we basically train her up and she works with us on a daily basis. She was so good. She worked on open days, presentations, webinars. We have very strong links with a partnership in India, in Bangalore, which is her hometown. And so we kept her on, and she worked with us for nearly a year. And the good news is that Shruti last week was able to guarantee a paralegal work employment. So she's got a new job and she's moving to London tomorrow to start the next journey in her life. And she's had a really good time at Swansea University. So we just wanted to say to anyone that's listening, there are opportunities for you to work with us within the university, even if you're looking for a part-time role or a bit more full-time, because she was working 3 days a week with us. So thanks, Katie.
Thank you. Geeta, if I could ask you to just quickly talk about your experiences, from completing your MBA, how that helped you to move on to the role that you're doing now. I think you've got a really interesting story.
In terms of my story, just to tell everyone that I actually, before coming to Swansea, I had a PhD in environmental science and engineering. So I come from a science background, purely academic and research background. So before I came to Swansea, I was little anxious that if I would be able to cope up with the finance and everything. But we have world-class faculty, and the way they taught us the concepts, and the focus was more on understanding and gaining, trying to learn from the basics. So after that, I finished, and then with the help of employability, they told me that why don't you apply for some volunteering and some internship services so that you get some experience as to how after your MBA you want to start your work. So after that, I did 2 months of volunteering with an organization. I think it was the Elysium Art Gallery, which is in the Oxford Street. And after that, when I came back to India, I have learned the skill of people's management, how to manage people. Because when you work with cities, it is something that is beyond your domain, and you need management skills to be able to deliver on time, because we have strict guidelines. Then account and finance background came in very handy, because I deal with budgets, which runs into like quite a bit. And cities that I'm currently handling are as big as a city of population 30 lakhs, which is about I think 3 million. So if the city is of that population, the expenses which are there, the initiatives that we are taking, so all that runs into a bigger level. And MBA has actually been, it has come in handy. While I now look back, that I would not have been able to plan, to deliver, to take care of the finances, and to do all this had it not been for my Swansea MBA.
Thanks, Geeta. That's super interesting. And yeah, if you wouldn't mind going on to the next slide, I'd just like to talk about some of the support that's available to students while they're studying with us. So especially international students, we totally appreciate that coming to a new country and studying somewhere that's completely new to you can be quite daunting. And so we have specialist teams available, they're called International at Campus Life, and they help with things kind of outside of the academic support. So it could be with getting prepared for your visa application before you come to Swansea, or you want to get in touch with other students that are from the same country as you, or you want to know where you could meet people from your community, whether it's a social event, just everything in terms of day-to-day life and settling in. So there's a huge amount of support available to international students. We're also really we're a really welcoming, friendly university. I think Wales in general is very friendly, but I think Swansea, I've worked at the university for 2 years, and you as soon as you go onto campus, there's a very warm feeling. Our security staff are there to help support students, make sure you feel safe while you're living and studying on campus. But we also have teams in our wellbeing service that help if you need help with any mental health support, counselling, if you've got disabilities or issues that may like set you back in your day-to-day tasks, then there's a team that can help with anything for you. So I would say that you kind of feel that as soon as you come onto campus. Linda, it'd be good to pass back to you again, actually. Given that you've only recently graduated, could you talk about any of the support that you took advantage of while you were studying with us?
Yeah, so I'll mention two. So like when I was like at Swansea, I was working also for advice and support, which is part of student union. So student union is basically like an organization that works with the uni, but separately from the uni, and they are there to represent like the student voice. So within student union, they do host like a couple of like extracurricular activities like societies, and I was working for the advice and support department. So advice and support does support like students in terms of if you have housing conflicts. Example, if you have a housing conflicts, it doesn't mean like your housing conflict has to be within Swansea University accommodation. It can be like private accommodation, and if there are housing conflicts or you want to get out of a lease, that office does help you. In terms of like academic situations that you face, like you got extracurriculum like stuff that happens, extenuating circumstances, like let's say death of a loved one, and then you are not able to fully perform within your studies, like they're there to support you and give you like maybe advice in terms of extension, and also in terms of academic misconduct, which is very common sometimes because coming into university, stuff like plagiarism is not really taught when you're in high school, or also like with other people who are international students converting to your masters, you don't know about citations and stuff like that. So they do help with kind of cases like that. And I was working for the office and I saw how much help they did extend with the students. I was like the receptionist, so I was like the first point of contact. My job was just like to direct people to the right kind of advisor and point them to the right office. And I think that kind of support is very essential for people to know about it. And the second one is the welfare team. They do care for students like mental health. Mental health, there's always a listening service. So sometimes you're coming in as an international student, you're very lonely. Like sometimes stuff you're going through, you don't know who to vent to. So you can just book an appointment with the listening service. It can be in person on Singleton campus or like on online. And then you can just have someone, if you want someone who's faith-based or someone who they do have a couple of people that can support you with different criteria, and I did utilize that service a lot. And I think the third one is the faculty. They do have the faculty support. So let's say stuff within your course, like you're not really understanding the lectures and stuff like that, or like even like changing majors and stuff like that. They do have that kind of support, which I did utilize because when I came in the university, I was first given the conversion in computer science. And they actually did help me to convert to advanced computer science because they actually looked into my background and we went into detail of the stuff that I had, and that actually helped me get this far. Yeah.
That's brilliant. So you've kind of seen it from the support that you received, but also then when you went to do some part-time work, you were able to kind of support other students as well. Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning that that support is there and it's available to students. So between office hours, you can drop into the reception areas, and there's support teams that are available there for you to drop in. There's also kind of planned sessions, like you mentioned, some of the academic side of things. Like, for example, in our faculty in science and engineering, some of the subjects are very maths heavy, and students may have been taught in a slightly different way to the British way of teaching. So, for example, we had a student that had different graph paper in the US than the UK, and it meant that they were struggling with a maths issue. And we have like a maths cafe that students can go and talk to some PhD students, and they can help them with maths issues. So there is that support both for the academic side of things, but also your well-being and whilst you're there. Yeah, thank you very much, Linda, for sharing that. Geeta, I don't know whether you wanted to touch on your experience and some of the support that you received as well, because I know you mentioned that you've had some employability family support, and then you also went on to do some volunteering yourself.
Yes. So here I would like to highlight two areas where I received immense support from the student services. So the first was I had a daughter that time who was really small, and I wanted to bring her to UK. So I went to the services, and they told me the best possible manner to apply for a student visa for my daughter, and what should be the points I should be putting down in the application. So that was very, very helpful. They told me what all other attachments I needed to add to the attachment, so that I had a strong case to apply for her visa. So it was very, very helpful. And the second thing was when I had finished my course, I had to apply for a business visa. And that time also, Mr. Dave Bolton, he helped me very significantly. He told me what is the format, and then he actually explained me with the help of examples that how best I could apply. So I think I took a lot of help from the student services, and it was very, very crucial at that time, coming for an international student. So
oh, brilliant.
thank you.
That's great to hear. Yeah, so we do have a team of immigration specialists that are within that International Campus Life team, and we recognise that actually arriving in the UK as a student, there's so many steps that you need to do and get into place before you actually arrive. So we do try and help as much as possible. If there's any issues with a visa application, then we help with that. But also myself, Emma and Bethany, as the international officers, we run sessions to help students prepare for their arrival. So we'll do an arrivals and enrolment session that talks about how to get your offer, your CAS, your visa, and making sure that you're preparing everything in advance before you arrive in Swansea. And even things like accommodation and travel, making sure that you allow yourself enough time to get to Swansea and use the right transport links and things like that. Which takes me nicely onto the next slide, Emma. I don't know if you can go to the next slide on accommodation. So we do guarantee accommodation for students that want to live on campus, as long as you apply within the deadline. So if you look at our accommodation pages, there'll be a deadline for when you've applied, to make sure that you get on-campus accommodation if that's what if you want. We do have a large number of rooms available on campus, and they're at a pretty good standard, and you can look and see what would suit you. So it could be that you want to be in a same-sex dorm, or you want to be in a smaller flat, or you prefer to save a bit of money and look at something that's a bit more cost effective, stay with a larger group. There's a huge amount of accommodation available. We also have some private accommodation providers that we are affiliated with. So I'd really recommend you look on our accommodation pages and see what one would suit you, and make sure you apply before the deadline. Just go on to the last slide, Emma. I was just going to talk about some of the societies that that are available in the Students' Union. So while you're here with us at Swansea, we would encourage you to kind of get involved with any societies or sports clubs that you're interested in outside of your teaching. So there are a huge number of societies available and over 50 sports clubs. It could be from baking to gaming, I don't know, law society, whatever it may be that you're interested in. It's a really good way for you to meet people who are like-minded, and yeah, so we'd really encourage you to get involved in that. I'd like to ask Hamdi to just talk about his experiences, because I know you, while you studied with us, that you also enjoyed the societies that were available to you. If you wouldn't mind talking about that.
Yeah, as you said, Katie, that there are available lots of different societies. So I was part of the Tree Society, which is a really interesting one. So we went to the Gower and we planted lots of trees. We reached the milestone of 10,000 trees in the Gower area to help like enhance the environment, stuff like that. So it's up to you. You can find lots of different societies as per your preferences. If you're coming from a certain community, you can find a community, you can find a society. So there are also different societies for lots of things, such as Tea Society, Arab Society. There's also Debate Society, if you like that kind of thing. So everything is available. It's a way also to make friends. If you're coming in, because I know it's hard to make friends in the first 2 weeks because you feel a bit lonely. So if you go to this kind of events, it will be much more easier for you to get out of that lonely feeling and to start making friends and get into the real university vibe.
Yeah, and just to add to that, if you're looking for employability, we have entrepreneurship clubs. So SUBS, which is our business club, we have students that have created on-campus coffee shops from the back of their car, and they've made a lot of money doing that. And then we also celebrate Diwali, Chinese New Year, which is coming up on campus. We have a welcome to Wales when you just arrive. So we have local food and music. And so there's every opportunity to join in and meet other students.
And I think it just makes the experience more rewarding once you've, you know, obviously your main focus of being at Swansea would be for your studies, but I think feeling settled and getting to know people and meeting people from all over the world, because we're a very diverse university. So it's a really good way to kind of enjoy your experience as well. Hamdi, I was going to ask, because you also did some volunteering while you studied with us. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, also volunteering is a great opportunity for you to make friends, like-minded people and people who have purpose in life. So I did volunteer as a campus life helper, which is something we do, that we organize trips to different parts of Wales and also England. Also organize some socials to get people to get to know each other and talk about different things. I also volunteered as English teaching assistant, which is helping people, international students whose English is not very good, to practice their English and get also to make some friends through that. Also been to care homes to help elderly people because they feel lonely in that kind of stage. So we just go talk to them. I also helped asylum seekers to learn English, because also they come to this country and they apply for their asylum. Their English is not very good. So that all kind of things help you really to to be active and also to make friends either in the places that you volunteer in or with other volunteers with you. So it was a great experience.
Geeta, I think you also did some volunteering while you studied with us. Is that right?
I was with I did some volunteering. I was actually a mentor for the students who were in my class, as being a senior student. So I did support some of them in terms of English language and also management as well. I was part of some societies also, and as you just mentioned about celebrating Diwali together, so some bit of nostalgia just coming back to me. So celebrating all those events was fun, and also the international days. I remember specifically that when we just came to Swansea, it was, I think, the National Day of Jordan. So we had a nice time. So it was like mix of culture and mix of so many other things, because you have international students coming from across the world. So it was fun.
That's it in terms of kind of the overview from our side. I think we can move on to the Q&A now. So I know there's a couple of questions that have come through on the Q&A within Zoom. I don't know if you want to kick off, Gav.
There is. Thank you, Katie, and sorry to interrupt you there. That's been a great session, and thank you to the two ex-students, current students as well, who have represented the university in such a good way as well. I think to hear from students from old, new, current, it's always so important. It really is, because it gives students that are watching that kind of accountability of what it's like when they're there, rather than just hearing from a representative of the university to say their university is great. So thank you to those involved. There have obviously been a couple of questions come in. Now, there are some questions from social media. We can't get through all of them. Unfortunately, we've got about 15 minutes for the Q&A now, that we'll try and stick to. Emma, Katie, whoever it is that needs to answer it, please just sort it out between yourselves. I'll guide the question towards both of you. One of the most popular questions that have come in is around funding and scholarships. Now, while you touched upon it, I think one of the questions that is engaging really is there'll be a lot of students when you refer to international students, and a lot of students when you refer to domestic students. Domestic students, Welsh, UK, if you're from England, are you eligible for certain funding options and scholarships, as opposed to if you were from, let's say, France or Germany? Emma, is that probably more of a question for you?
Thank you so much. Yes, it might be. So basically, if you're an international student, we have a variety of different scholarships, but you can basically combine your scholarships up to a maximum of £6,000 at present. So we don't have any fully funded scholarships for the entire year. So if you're coming here to do an MSc or an MA program for 1 year, you would have to, depending on your school, combine those scholarships up to a value of £6,000. We also have regional scholarships depending on where you come from, if you're from India, Africa. But if you're a UK Welsh student, you would then be eligible for the Welsh Government funding, which is part loan and part grant. So it depends on your circumstances. We do have a webpage on our website that actually takes those Welsh students to, you know, what funding is available for them. But it does depend on your circumstances if you're a Welsh student. But I do know that you get more funding living and domiciled in Wales than you would if you were in England.
Absolutely. And I think it's such a complex answer, really. I would urge anyone that has any questions around funding and scholarships, just due to the nature of how many options there are, to head over to your website and find out more information.
Excuse me, Gareth. Sorry, I just wanted to interject,
of course, Bethany,
just to add a little bit more in terms of scholarships, because I know that, as you quite rightly said, there is a huge breadth of scholarships, you know, including achieving scholarships that are available at Swansea University. But I do also know that we do have some questions around postgraduate research, so perhaps PhD, that element of scholarships, which perhaps we haven't covered so much. So Swansea does offer, you know, quite a few of those sort of scholarships. It is quite changeable, so we do have a dedicated website around postgraduate research scholarships, and on that page you will see up-to-date offerings that tends to be primarily around kind of pre-designed, so preset PhD areas, which we are perhaps looking at increasing our research based on. So, you know, by all means, have a look at that website, see if there is a pre-designed kind of PhD area that you might be interested in that is perhaps offering some scholarships. But occasionally there are also some funding opportunities on there if you have a kind of a self-designed PhD area that you're interested in. So whilst you might not see something that is relevant to you right now, then, as I say, the website is constantly updated. So keep an eye on that if you are interested in postgraduate research scholarships, because that is something that we do kind of update in terms of just depending on what areas of research we're looking at the moment.
Excellent. And I think one of the things that haven't really been mentioned yet is, given the international nature of the university, we heard from the ex-students in terms of just how many different cultures there are and how welcoming it was as a city. English language requirements, it's always a popular one. People kind of forget about it. They go, oh, I need to study somewhere, but don't kind of forget that actually there is a requirement, whether it's IELTS or TOEFL. If their language isn't up to scratch and English isn't their number one language, do you guys offer alternatives or courses to get that up to scratch?
Yes, we are very specialised in that we have our own English language test called the Swansea English Language Test. It's equivalent to IELTS. Any offer holder that comes through our doors, we offer you a free SWELT test. So we do say to offer holders, apply for your programme, get your offer, and then you can come and do our English language test for free. So it's quite a unique position to be in, because not many other universities offer this facility. But also, if you have a go at the SWELT test and you don't pass, we offer pre-sessional programs. So you can come to us for the summer, for a whole year, or for 6 weeks, depending on your level, to get you into the right IELTS level to get you into your program. And we do offer support during your study while you are here. So if you are struggling with your English language and you need academic writing skills, for example, that is also a free service that we offer to all students studying at Swansea University.
Excellent. And just keeping on the kind of the admissions path and careers, one of the most important things to students, whether it be they're a business student or whether it be they're humanities or teaching, is employability options afterwards. South Wales, Wales as a nation, really, I know is very, very strong when it comes to employability and in particular postmasters employability as well. What kind of relationships do you have with partners within the city, within the region, within the UK and globally that would entice a student to come and study with you guys?
I think I can certainly start, have a little bit of input into this, is that we do have fantastic sort of links with industry, and indeed particularly with our programs where students work in industry. Perhaps Katie might be able to chip in as well in this, because a lot of her faculty contributes to that, but we do have great working relationships with industry, and many of our students who perhaps do those placements or have those kind of working connections do then perhaps go on to work with those industries. And I think an important thing which kind of ties in really nicely with the fact that we've had fantastic alumni join us today is that we do also have Swansea Connect, which is a fantastic networking online platform which is open to all of our staff, current students and alumni, and students can link up with perhaps alumni who perhaps work in a specific industry or perhaps work for a specific organization that they are interested in, and get that kind of that impact, that feedback. We've had students who have contacted alumni who work in perhaps a specific area, a specific field that they're interested in, perhaps got a little bit of feedback in what the organization kind of ethos is like, what the environment's like, what might give them a really kind of great benefit when they are submitting any application, and that's come out really well. So that whole, we've got a fantastic alumni department in total, but that Swansea Connect I think is a really valuable kind of network, and that's a fantastic link between current students and alumni that kind of increases their employability as well.
Excellent. I think that's so important to point out. Katie, do you want to elaborate further?
Yeah, just to touch on that, the university was set up to upskill the local community, and we still do that. So we have really strong links with local firms such as Tata Steel, which is just around the corner from us. But we also have this team of the employability team that are a mix of academics and people who've worked in industry. So we've got those connections and we really utilise those as much as possible. And the service that team provides is both, while you're studying, but lifelong. So it could be that you want to use those connections in future to help with a potential work opportunity. But also, as you can see from the guests that we've had on here, is our alumni are really proud of their experiences at Swansea and want to kind of help future students. So we're lucky enough to utilise that network, and it might be, you know, help make connections for people to go into graduate programmes or help with a year in industry. So that's a big thing that the employability team do, is they help place students in the right place if they're doing a year in industry or if they're looking for a graduate placement after studying, to make sure they're in the right place and you're connected to the right people.
Excellent. And I want to kind of touch base upon the actual location as well. I've been to Swansea. I mean, I'm from Plymouth. And for those that aren't aware, southwest of England, beautiful part of the world. And when people say, you know, you're very close to the coastline, it really is taken literally when it comes to Swansea. I've been to Swansea, and you know, as you drive into the campuses, you have literally got the Bay campus and you've got the beach next to you, without having that kind of big city feel that you can kind of get lost in. You know, there are other cities, I won't name them, but it really is, and it does help international students, that it's got that kind of homely feel, that if you are from that coastline, if you are from the States or from a region within India or from a region within China, and you're not sure, you know, am I going to settle in? There is something for everyone there. And that goes back to the whole culture aspect again. Everyone feels welcome. Everyone's kind of in the same boat. Can we just touch upon the living standards? So the accommodation, you do offer guaranteed accommodation. I mentioned that Bay campus. How key is that? Because not every university offers that. I would say a small majority, a small minority of them do actually. So that must be extremely key when a student's applying, that they can do that all as a one-stop shop.
Yeah, I can cover that. So yeah, we're really lucky that we've got a huge amount of accommodation on both the campuses, but we also have the private providers in the city. So it's really a preference, but personally, I think if I was coming to Swansea for a 1 or 2 year programme and I wasn't familiar with the university, I think living on campus is a really good option, and it's great that we guarantee that you feel safe, you're walking distance to your lectures, you're really well connected into the city if you want to have that time kind of off campus, or if you want to visit the other campus for, I don't know, sporting or a society meeting or whatever it may be. So it's really well connected. But I think it's good to have that option available to you. I know when I studied, I didn't go to Swansea, but as you know, there wasn't that same availability of accommodation, and that can make it quite a daunting experience. So yeah, we've got on our Bay campus, the campus was built in 2015. We've got 2,500 rooms available on campus. They're actually, when I show people around, and they're really impressed with the standard because they're built for purpose, not that long ago. They're really modern. There's plenty of space. There's common areas for students. There's laundrettes, gyms, social areas you can rent out, the basketball courts that are right next to you, and you can walk to lectures in a couple of minutes. So yeah, I think it's a real positive, I think, for students that come to Swansea. Emma, Bethany, I don't know if I've covered everything there.
Can I just jump in quickly? One thing that hasn't really been mentioned is the affordability compared to other cities. You know, you go down the road to Cardiff, and like you said, you're only an hour away. It is significantly more affordable in Swansea than it is in Cardiff.
Yeah, I know Emma touched on it earlier, but we've been ranked top 10 in terms of affordability for students as a city. It's Swansea, the cost of living is a lot lower from some of the compared to some of the bigger cities, but our campus accommodation, we review that. We look at where we think we think it might be putting students off. So there is the option to choose a more cost-effective student accommodation. Like some of the accommodation can be around £135 a week, and that includes all your bills, which I think is very reasonable for the standard that we have.
Excellent.
Just for those people who, sorry, Emma.
Sorry, carry on, Beth. Just Swansea being a city of sanctuary means that we have a very, very wide, diverse, different types of nationality within the city. And we have a street where basically you have grocery shops, you have everything, supermarkets from all over the world. So we say to students, you can buy the food that you normally eat in your own home country for a lot less, because it's all there and it's all available for you. So, you know, we also say to people, don't bring things from your country, you can buy everything. But that's really set up. Swansea is a student city. It very much is a student city. So it's a lot cheaper than everywhere else, I would say. Sorry, Bethany.
Yeah, I was
Bethany,
no,
carry on.
that's fine. I was just going to quickly say for those students, for anyone watching this who is perhaps more like, you know, driven by statistics and data, in terms of figures, you know, you might not be familiar with where we are in Swansea, but most people, when they think of UK, they might think of a big central hub like London. And just to give you a perspective in terms of cost of living, the cost of living in Swansea is about 34%. Well, London is 34% higher in terms of cost of living than Swansea, and that's without rent. So when you factor in rent, that actually goes up to 72% more expensive than Swansea. So just to give you a bit of perspective in terms of, you know, your money, because your investment obviously is coming to the UK to come and study with us, hopefully, and you just want to make that go as far as you can, and you can definitely kind of do that in Swansea.
And one of the things I wanted to, Katie, I'm going to go back to the kind of the accommodation side of things. It's kind of linked to the culture and the diversity as well. Is we at postgrad.com have seen, I think it's something along the lines of 30 to 40% increase in the amount of mature students that are now studying a postgraduate course. That comes with different, you know, compromises. You've got families, you're at a different stage of your life. What accessibility options are there for students that do perhaps have a family? You know, it can be a big commitment to come over with a family. Do you cater for those types of students?
Yeah, we do have, it's off-campus accommodation that's available for families to live in. So you could choose, like, as I say, look on the webpage, you can see which one would suit you if you were bringing a dependent or family members with you. There's also the option then to look at external accommodation. So we have something called Student Pad, which is a way of searching for private accommodation through our website. So they are trusted landlords and trusted estate agents where they could look for maybe a room or a private house rental that they could do as an option. And we're really lucky. We have the city in the centre, we have the campuses either side, and close to the city and the campuses, we have pockets of residential areas that has affordable housing for rent for students. So what we've seen over time is certain areas have become more student focused because of their affordability, but also because of their location. So there are options, and I touched on the sessions that we do before students arrive. We help with things like directing you to the right teams, like Gita did, to help apply for visas if you are able to bring dependents. Also things about applying for schools or childcare options as well if you are bringing any of your family members with you.
Okay, and just on a final note as well, because we have got a couple of minutes remaining, I think it's important to talk about your intake dates. I know they might perhaps vary on the course that or program that a student is looking to apply for. What are the intake dates generally, and how would a student go on to apply? What's the process, and how long can they expect that process to take?
In terms of intake dates for postgraduate taught, then they are generally September and January. Those are our kind of major intakes for postgraduate taught. Of course, for PGR, postgraduate research, we have several dates throughout the year. So you need to sort of have a look, because there's a bit more flexibility on that, because we appreciate it takes a little bit more time to get things together, to get tutors and supervisors lined up for that. So we understand that. We do have a brand new learner gateway system. So that is going to be our online application portal. And so students can submit applications directly to us. And we do review all of our applications on sort of an individual basis. So admission tutors will review those, and we do aim to sort of get those reviewed and decisions put through as soon as possible. Emma and Katie might have other contributions to that question, but hopefully that's answered a lot of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's been an engaging session. I think it's been great. If anyone has missed anything from this session at all, it will be on demand. It will be on YouTube in the next 24 to 48 hours. If anyone has any questions or concerns or anything related to this, I can see there's been a couple of questions come through on the Zoom platform around the nationality that you are, around funding and scholarships. we have your details. We will reach out to you. Your details will be passed on to all the team members here as well. So if you have any questions directly, they will reach out to you and you can communicate with them that way. But for now, Katie, Emma, Bethany, and to the two ex-students as well, huge thank you for your time. It's been fantastic. And likewise, we hope to see you towards the end of 2025 and we can talk about, it seems crazy, but 2026. So thank you for your time and I look forward to seeing you again. Take care.